Is Ben Brown ready for the Cubs starting rotation? We're going to give you the rotation for the Dodgers series and then talk about what the Cubs should do or might do when Patrick Wisdom comes off of the IL. All that, and also reminding you guys that we're going to be live Friday today for the Cubs and Dodgers. We're going to watch it with you, our first watch party here on the Cubs baseball channel. All that and more. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Let's get this thing started with your invitation. Go Cubs. Peace, everybody. It's Mick Gillispie. A little teaser for you. And then, of course, our first watch party of all the Friday day games. We're going to do it right here on the Cubs baseball channel with you guys. We're going to talk about Cubs baseball. We're going to watch the game with you. We're going to take your comments, and we're really excited about it. Anthony will jump on for that later today. So welcome to the channel. I'm broadcaster Mick on the socials, and I just wanted to kind of get things going like we always do with our morning show. And it's going to start with this. Ben Brown, is he ready for the Cubs starting rotation? Got called up, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, there's no chance that he's not in the rotation. The way that he pitched in spring training, the stuff that he brings to the table, the velocity, the two breaking balls, and he just outperformed the other guys that you would have put in that spot, right? And here we are, a couple of starters down, wondering, who's going to be the guy that steps up. So Brown gets promoted to the big leagues, and he gets out there. First inning was fine, and then all of a sudden the Rangers just pounded him around the yard. But part of that was Christopher Morel just not catching the ball at third base. If you had a good glove at third, I don't think it would have been like that. So then they use him as an opener, right? And that was kind of, they used Luke Little as an opener. Hey, big guy, you're going to finish this one, and then you're going to start this one. You're only going to pitch an inning. And then we're going to bring Ben Brown out. And I'm sure that it's like, hey, we just didn't want him to face the top of that lineup. We get a chance to kind of do it out of the bullpen, work through nerves, comes out, and he is great. It's the guy that we saw in Arizona. It's the guy that we knew that we had in the Cubs system and who has developed into this spot where he's ready to go. I think he's ready to go. I thought Craig Counsell kind of hinted to that in the postgame after the Cubs swept the Rockies, which was a beautiful thing on Wednesday. And so, okay, there we go. Now, is that going to happen? Yeah, I think it's a real big possibility that Brown slots into the rotation. And Counsell, when they brought him in, he talked about how tough it is to play in the big leagues and trying to make it easier on the guys to succeed. And maybe this is a good example of that. Maybe we're seeing that right now. You bring him out, he's going to be a starter. You throw him into a game from the bullpen. Then you use, him as a balk guy, which I'll be honest with you. I hate all that analytics stuff, the openers and balk guys. Give me starters, guys that go head to head. But Brown might need that. Maybe this transition, a lot of guys start in the bullpen and then eventually become really good starters. So maybe this transition's all part of that. But it is interesting watching Craig Counsell manage and the way that his mind works around the game. And the Cubs feel like they got the best manager in the game. And I think we're seeing an example of how he is working to get young guys experience and success. And I think the next step is that Brown will be in the rotation. We'll see. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I feel like it's a good possibility that he is. Now, here's the rotation for the Dodgers series. It includes today's game, obviously Saturday and Sunday. Kyle Hendricks on the mound today. We'll talk about that pitching matchup. And again, we're going to be on with the watch party. So if you're watching this, just know that at 1:20 Central Time, or probably 1:15, we'll be on and we'll be talking about the game. Jordan Wicks on Saturday, the left-hander, and then Shota Imanaga on Sunday. I think a lot of people wanted that Saturday matchup with Shota Imanaga against the Dodgers. Yamamoto is going to pitch on Saturday against the Cubs. Now, it hasn't gone well for him yet, like it has Shota. But can you imagine the buildup of that game in Japan? Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, two of our best pitchers are going head to head in MLB instead of, here on the island of Japan. So really interesting the way that all of these guys that have come over from Japan have integrated into Major League Baseball. Shota made such a great impression, but he's going to have a tougher challenge this time facing the Dodgers. And so it's really exciting just to see what he's going to do. When you see Ohtani up against Imanaga, and I think that Imanaga is going to be Ohtani's worst nightmare, a left-hander that can move it around like he can. So we'll find out. That's the series. That's how it lines up for the Cubs pitching. And today's game is Bobby Miller, who was brilliant his first time out, pitched 6 innings, got the win, and he'll be opposed by Kyle Hendricks, who's looking to bounce back after giving up runs against the Rangers in a loss. So that's the matchup today. And again, we'll be back on, for the game. And we will be on the air, like I said, around 1:15 Central Time. Now, the weather's not going to be something the Dodgers are going to be happy about. It's windy. It's cold at Wrigley's, 38 degrees, the high. So bundle up, Dodgers. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy this cold weather because it's going to hit you pretty hard when, you're used to being out in L.A. and then you got to walk on the field and deal with this stuff, right? So that's the game plan. Again, the watch party is our first of every Friday day game. And so get your questions ready, your comments. Maybe eventually we'll start taking some calls on that as well, just to see how it goes this first time. The other question I wanted to kind of bring up here, and we'll follow it up during the watch party, is what do the Cubs do when Patrick Wisdom returns from the IL? Because you got to start thinking, like, what are they going to do? Because a lot of the guys they have don't have options. So at some point you're going, okay, well, are you going to send Miles Mastrobuoni down? He's actually really valuable. The way that he scored that run that put the Cubs ahead against the Rockies was a great example. He strikes out, but he gets to first and then scores on the ground ball to third. He can play around the field, but he's a possibility. We got Garrett Cooper, who almost did for the cycle the other day. And I like Cooper better than I like Wisdom. He just seems like a better all-around player. Maybe not quite the power that Wisdom has, but he can play first base, and I'm not so worried about him defensively as I am with Wisdom. What about Madrigal? Honestly, when Madrigal's healthy, he's a really good piece for a team's bullpen. A team's bench, right? Because he makes contact. And I think that's like, you're just putting the ball in play is something that it's lost art, right? But when you see him over at third, he makes some plays. And with Christopher Morel playing third, there's going to be a lot of games where he's going to slide in late and have to play there defensively. Madrigal is way better defensively than Wisdom. But Wisdom's superpower is the home run and the extra base hit, and the power. So I don't know. You guys tell me, get in the comment section, or maybe save it for the watch party, and we'll talk about it there. What would you do with this roster when Wisdom comes back? Is Mike Tauchman, is his position one that the Cubs are kind of looking at and going, because the other guys in the outfield, you're not going to move. So that's where we are right now. Quick show just to kind of get your a little appetizer to get you guys ready for the Cubs and the Dodgers. We're going to talk about Morel at third and the defense there. We're going to talk about Nico's slow start. But remember, we're only 6 games in. So, I mean, we don't want to panic yet. What's going on with Bellinger? Nothing. He's just I read a great comment. They're like, Ryan Sandberg used to get off the slow starts. Man, when it's cold or at the beginning of the season, it does take an adjustment time. But they're 4-2 right now. They've won 4 straight games, and they're going into the Dodgers series with some momentum. What is an acceptable series for the Cubs? Is it acceptable to win 1 out of the 3 games? Do they need to take the series 2 out of 3? Can they sweep the series against this Dodgers team with 3 MVPs at the top of their lineup? Yeah, 3 MVPs. Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. So you're talking about a big-time lineup with a lot of pop. And how about Michael Busch? You think this one circled a little bit on his calendar? You know, they had him, and then they still went out and got Freddie Freeman, and he's just been kind of trying to find a spot, second base, third base, wherever. And now he's got a home at first with the Cubs. Could he be that guy that steps up in this series against his old team? We'll find out, and we'll talk to you guys again at 1:00. Now, if you're watching it after that, then go back and watch it. It'll be on YouTube. You could rewatch the game with us. Or maybe just jump in when you do. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Keep the comments going. Love the banter. And we will see you this afternoon. Go Cubs.